This session is a continuation of the Chapter 2 review with Problem 25. Problem 25 asks us to write a two-column proof for the reflexive property of angle congruence. Ordinarily, we don't write proofs for these properties, but it's a good little exercise in exercising proof skills. So let's start off. So let's pick a pen and let's write some chalk here. We have an angle A given, and the symbol measure of angle A is the measure of an angle with vertex A. And that is the protractor postulate. Okay. Now, since we have the measure of angle A, we can go ahead and say the measure of angle A equals the measure of angle A. This is the reflexive property of equality. Reflexive property of equality. And then based on that statement, we can say angle A is congruent to angle A. And the reason for that statement is the definition of congruent angles. Definition of congruent angles says two angles are congruent if and only if their measures are equal. And there's the proof of our property. And now on to problem 26. In problem 26, we're asked to write another proof. It says write a proof using any format. So we're going to use a two-column format, and we're given angle 3 and angle 2 are complementary, and we're also given measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2 equals 90 degrees. We are to prove that angle 3 is congruent to angle 1. So let's go ahead and start out. Grab our chalk, and we will say angle 3 and angle 2 are complementary. The measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2 equals 90 degrees. These are given. Okay. Now, what we're going to say, we have to get to angle 3 is congruent to angle 1. Well, since angle 3 and angle 2 are complementary, we know that the measure of angle 3 plus the measure of angle 2 equals 90 degrees. This is the definition of complementary angles. this, of course, is given. All right, so now that we have this, we can see that we have the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2 equals 90 degrees, and the measure of angle 3 plus the measure of angle 2 is 90 degrees. This matches the pattern of the transitive property of equality, where we have A equals B and B equals C, therefore A equals C. So we're going to go ahead and write the measure of angle 3 plus the measure of angle 2 equals the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2. And this is transitive property of equality. So now that we have these two here, we can see that we have an angle 2 on both sides. And again, we have to get to angle 3 is congruent to angle 1. So we have to get angle 3 on one side alone and angle 1 on one side alone. Well, in this case, we can subtract angle 2 from both sides. Measure of angle 3 equals the measure of angle 1, because we subtracted angle 2 from both sides. So that's minus the subtraction property of equality. And now, since we have the measure of angle 3 equals the measure of angle 1 and we have to get to congruence, we can say that angle 3 is congruent to angle 1 because of the definition of congruent angles. And there's our proof. And I'll see you next session.